Hi, friends. This is your pal Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about American politics. And we're going to talk about Vladimir Putin and his absolutely savage treatment of the Ukrainian people, and what are the ramifications of his actions. So, in a change that shocked the world, we have peace talks that have started for ending the Russian-Ukraine war. And the concept there is that Donald Trump don't play, right? You can't just be murdering hundreds of thousands of people. He's not going to sit back. What I think this is happening because he's saying, I'm not just going to sit back and let you murder hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians on the reg. Like, that's just not going to allow. That's not allowed, right? And that's a huge change. And this is one of the reasons why I voted for Donald Trump, was I didn't want to just sit around and allow villains to villain, right? And he's doing something, whereas Biden did nothing. Like, just watched. Like, it was horrible what Biden did with how he abandoned the Ukrainian people and did put boots on the ground on day one. So, but what really? So I was listening to the coverage on the New York Times, and it was astounding. So they reported they gave the report and said, hey, this is happening. We have this situation where um, the peace talks have started, right? And that's huge because this went for 3 years with nothing done under Biden, and within 3 months of him starting, the peace talks have already started, right? And that's pretty astounding. So under Trump, complete a 180-degree change, right? And part of this pattern of under Biden, nothing could happen because, what could we possibly do? And Donald Trump's approach is like, I'm an American king. What can I do? Right? It's just 180-degree. And it's so shocking. Like, the Democrats are beat so hard that it's fundamentally changed them, right? Like, because people are like, oh, well, we could just sit around and watch the Democrats do nothing, or we could just put a Republican in and watch everything change overnight. It's astounding. Like, it's incredible, like, what's happening. But what really blew me away was um, Donald Trump is not being hard enough on Vladimir Putin. Now, how hard should America roll against Vladimir Putin? Well, an absolutely fascinating quote came out of the New York Times coverage of this. They talked to Mississippi Senator Roger Wicker, right? And you know what he said? They said, hey, do you think Donald Trump should trust Vladimir Putin in these talks? And he goes, absolutely not. He said, Vladimir Putin is a war criminal who should be in jail for the rest of his life, if not executed. If not executed. If not executed, right? Mississippi Senator Roger Wicker is saying that he thinks there's a distinct possibility America should lead the charge to make sure that Vladimir Putin is dead. Dead, right? Now, that's a shocking statement. That's a shocking statement. Unless you understand that Vladimir Putin alone, and no other human on this entire planet, is 100% responsible for the murder of hundreds of thousands of innocent Ukrainians, right? That is. Once you realize that, you're like, oh yeah, I get it. Yeah, that's worth a discussion on whether Vladimir Putin should be dead, executed because of what he has done, right? So that is fascinating. And I have to say, we still got a few in the Senate, right? We still got a few in the Senate who are worth starting a conversation that's worth having, right? That is definitely a conversation that's worth having. Also, Donald Trump said he was going to embrace America first. The idea that America is the decider on who lives and dies in this world, right, at the world leader level, that's fascinating. Now, the reality is, it is fascinating, and it's a hard role unless you remember Obama. That dude was murking people left and right? Villains did not villain under Obama. He said it. He's like predator drone, baby. Like, it's pretty wild. I am fascinated by this, and I definitely think it's a conversation worth having. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. Nothing more, absolutely nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider like, subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.